We are in the kitchen now with Brandon Pellerian, owner of Calas Café, to make us a dish that is celebrated as a symbol of resilience.
Yes.
And y'all, I just had my first bite of a Calas.
Yes.
That was so good.
Such a remarkable piece of New Orleans food history that I think just doesn't get enough
No, this
attention.
definitely does not get the attention it deserves,
Right?
y'all. It was good.
It is so delightful.
So what is it?
So Calas is basically a New Orleans tradition that made its way to New Orleans in the 1800s by enslaved West Africans. It was how they used the tradition here in New Orleans in the 1800s that just made me proud of the very work that they were doing around the making of this dish. As you can see, it looks like our beloved beignets.
I was about to ask you, I mean, is this play into the eventual creation of the beignet?
You know, I like to leave that to the history, to the historians.
Okay.
It is an older dish than the beignets. It looks like beignets, but it's made with cooked rice. So it's older than the beignet.
It's made with cooked rice. Y'all, when you
Cooked
eat this, it tastes like a dessert. It does not taste like what's going underneath your red beans.
Oh yeah, it tastes nothing like what's going underneath your red beans. This tradition has just been one of New Orleans' culinary pieces.
Oh, got it.
One of New Orleans' culinary piece of histories that just, again, let's just go ahead and turn this right on down to our lowest temp.
So it's one of our culinary traditions. Obviously, a lot of history there.
Yeah.
You said that it symbolizes resilience.
Yes. So enslaved women, Creole women, free women of color would sell this dish around St. Louis Cathedral, around the French Quarters. Basically, use the proceeds, some of the proceeds that was earned from the sales of this dish. It was enslaved women determining whose freedom was urgent at the time and using the proceeds, yes, to contribute to the purchasing of enslaved women freedom.
To purchase their freedom.
Yes, from the Spanish through a process called manumission.
Wow.
Yes, so word of the day, manumission.
Manumission.
Yeah.
How did you get into, this?
My grandmother made Calas. I learned about them through my grandmother, and I never quite grasped the history then. It was when I was older, the line of work I'm in, which is food security, is the reason why I thought it was important to being secured in food if we're acknowledging the history of the very dishes that we're interacting with. And Calas, with its remarkable food history, was exactly the reason why I decided to focus on this dish and make sure people know about the history and ultimately have access to the dish.
Well, I think that's amazing. You mentioned that it's actually rice
Yes.
that's fried. So do you squish the rice into a ball? How do you actually make one?
So as you can see, we have a combination of cooked rice here.
Cooked rice.
A flour. We have nutmeg on the table, vanilla, an egg as the binder.
Okay.
And we mix all that together, if you don't mind. And
No, I'd love to see it.
And it gives us this kind of a result.
Okay.
As you can see, and I don't know if, so this is the making of all those things. When you drop it in the oil, it kind of fluffs up.
Okay, so it makes its own little ball when you drop it in the oil. It's not like something you're rolling in a batter.
No, it's not something you're rolling in the batter. It's just something that
And then you dust it with a little bit of powdered sugar.
And I dust it with a little bit of powdered sugar, served with the lemon curd and a pistachio curd.
Which was amazing.
Yes, right.
Why the lemon and the pistachio? Is that just traditional what it was served with?
No, it's just my little attention to flavor. And it's not that it needs it. It's pretty delightful all by itself.
Yeah.
The lemon curd just adds for more conversation. And the pistachio does as well.
Yes, for sure.
It's all about the conversation. And so there we have Calas that starts from this mixture to this mix. I fry them in coconut oil. I have to say that because health is our thing first. So coconut oil is, for me, the healthier oil to cook with.
Yeah.
And as it also adds another little layer of flavor as well.
Well, I tell you what, you said, come get a bite of this
Yeah.
while it's warm before we go on air.
Yes.
And I mean, my face must have been like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, this is so good.
You know, and it's not like they're not good cold, but I love for them to come out hot.
And you can get these at Calas
You can
Café.
get
Tell me where
these.
y'all are located.
So we're located in the Treme, right outside of the gates of Louis Armstrong Park, 1010 Treme Street. To be exact, we operate out of a little tiny cart setting. It's a beautiful display of we try to walk people through history with the way we're set up, and ultimately making sure that they have access to an amazing piece of New Orleans food history.
I love that. Well,
Yes.
if you hadn't heard that story before, now you have. If you want to hear it again and maybe more,
Yes.
go check out Calas Café. Like you said, you're right there outside the Treme.
Yeah, right outside of Treme. You can also go to calascafe.com and check, just have a look at all the exciting things that we're doing in the name of food security, inclusion of our food history. Again, and Calas is too important to the story of New Orleans, and my job is to make sure people ultimately have access and to get that educational information out there, because it is a piece of history that kind of unites New Orleanians, and everyone is proud of their interaction with Calas, as you just discovered today.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I do
Yes,
really appreciate it.
absolutely. You got